I'm Anil Kumar, and in this video we will understand how to sketch the graph of the function and its inverse. I have already sketched the graph, but we will discuss in details how to sketch the graph. Question here is, sketch the graph of f of x equals to 4 minus x square root and its inverse. So let's begin with the function itself, which is f of x equals to square root of 4 minus x square. We need to sketch its graph. What should we look into? First thing which we should look is the domain. Right? Once we know what the domain is, then we can have some points, right? And that will also give us the idea about the range of the function, right? To find the domain of this function, we know within the square root, we have to be positive, non-negative I should say. It could be 0. So the idea is to find out 4 minus x square should be greater than equal to 0. Correct? It means 4 should be greater than equals to x square. Or if you solve this inequality, then x should be within, that means x should be greater than equal to minus square root of 4. Right? So when you do square root of 4, plus and minus will come. So which is plus and minus 2, right? Now, when you have plus and minus 2 in the x value, then what happens? Then the x value is greater than equals to minus 2, but less than equals to 2. So that is the domain of the function in this particular case. Correct? Now, so you can take the values of x as either plus 2 or minus 2. But if you go beyond that, then 4 minus x square will become negative and the function is not defined. Okay, so that's the first part. Now, what we have to also see is the range of the function. Range is, if you see, this reminds you of, let me just rewrite this function as y equals to square root of 4 minus x square, right? So what I'm trying to say is range here is greater than 0. Of course it is positive. As far as range is concerned, we know it is positive. Greater than equal to 0. We'll find the maximum also. Maximum is when x is 0, right? Okay, let me write down that also. So range is positive and maximum is when x equals to 0. And for x equals to 0, we get f of 0 as equals to square root of 4, which is always positive, which is positive 2. So what we get here is positive 2 as the range of this. So what we have got till now is that the domain of the function is between, let me write now like this, minus 2 and plus 2. And the range is between 0 and 2. So that is the range for us, right? What I was saying here is, this reminds you of something, right? Let us square this. If you square this, you get y square equals to 4 minus x square, and bringing x on this side gives you x square plus y square equals to 4. And that means a circle, right? A circle with radius of 2 square root of 4. So that means a circle where the radius is equals to 2, right? So that is how the graph of this function should be. Since our domain and range is now known, range is only positive, so what we are looking here is semicircle, right? So it is basically a semicircle. Only the positive half, correct? Only the positive half. So that is what the graph of this function should be like, correct? Now this graph is incorrect, unfortunately. So let's now draw the correct graph. So I will have to change quite a bit in this particular case to get the right graph. So let's do it. It's always a good exercise to do like that. So first thing is, our domain which we learned here is actually equals to plus 2 minus 2. So I'll take these, I could do, okay, so what I will do here is, from the given situation, the best thing to do is I'll change the x's. Okay, so this is my correct axis. Okay, the previous graph was not correct. Okay, so here we have x-axis, and this axis is my y-axis. Okay, and these units, this is -1, this is -2 for us, and that is plus 2 for us now. and then this should be here 1. Okay, light. So sometimes it is good to have light graphs. Okay, so that becomes a semicircle we are talking about. Do you get the point? Okay, that's fine. So this function now which we have drawn is actually f of x equals to square root of 4 minus x square, right? So most of the videos, as you know, for me they're direct videos. I don't really edit them, and you know, in typing errors we may do something wrong. Anyway, so you got this graph. So it is this semicircle which we are talking about, which is being represented by f of x, which is square root of 4 minus x square. So that's the graph for us. Okay, I hope that part is absolutely clear to you. Now the second part of this question is sketch the graph of this function and its inverse. Now to sketch the inverse of this function, what we can do is we can draw a line which is y equals to x. So if I draw a line y equals to x and then we flip on that line, we will get our graph of y equals to. So let us say this is the line which is y equals to x. Now flipping the points on y equals to x will give us the graph of inverse function. So what are the points to consider? So let's consider a few points. Okay, so we'll just flip them one by one. That is an invariant point, so it will remain there itself. Okay, so let's draw these points in a different color. So when I flip this point, it remains there itself, but here from the symmetry itself it will go to that place and they swap, right? So these points will swap one another. However, this point here is half and 1, so we have 1 and half. It'll come kind of here, this place. So this point moves to that location, and this which is minus 2 0 will now be at 0 minus 2. So 0 minus 2 is kind of here. So the graph which we have now, which is the inverse of this particular function, will be kind of like this. Okay, so this semicircle will now get flipped to this semicircle. So this point remains where itself. It is invariant, which lies on the x-axis. That point moves towards this. This point moves towards that. So they interchange their location. This point is here. So let me write down like that. If I have points A, B, C, D, and E, then A dash is this point, reflection of A. Reflection of B is B dash. Reflection of C is C dash. D dash and D are same points. And E dash is the reflection of E at this place. So this graph becomes my inverse of the function, correct? So red is my inverse now. So let me call this, now let me write down here, g of x is f, I should not say f inverse, I'm not writing x since it is not a function, it fails the vertical line test. That is how it is, correct? As you can see from here now, the domain and range for this function is, domain for this function you can write down, will be between 0 to 2, right, both included, and the range for this function is between minus 2 to plus 2. Correct? So that is the inverse. I hope that helps. I'm sorry for the typing errors and the mistake already, but that helps us to understand the concept. Now as an exercise, what you can do is find the equation of the inverse of this function. That should help. Thank you and all the best.